my credit card off because I found out that Towanda has been using my credit card to pay her phone bill.
My phone bill?
The matter is settled officially. Towanda Braxton's name has just come to the attention of the Fed. Insiders from the Atlanta field office of the FBI allege that Towanda's recent bankruptcy case involved more than mere financial mismanagement. After new documents emerged that connect unreported income with property transfers, it is being treated as a potential bankruptcy fraud. When that leak first occurred, I recall browsing through social media platforms. People were tagging Tamar Braxton, asking if she was the one who informed the feds. To be honest, the timing seemed far too convenient. A fan showcased the receipts and captured it perfectly. You all have ceased to think that Tamar Braxton is crazy. Her sister Towanda included her as a creditor. It was a gift lie. That single post went viral overnight. By the next morning, federal authorities had begun examining Towanda's 2019 Chapter 7 filing, in which he claimed Tamar owed $35,000 a loan that Towanda maintains was actually a gift. However, investigators now claim that just one line on a bankruptcy form could be considered a false declaration, which is a federal crime according to Section 18 U.S.C. 152. This is where things get crazy. Der Durjik Skutspa School Bezag, Sichnikt Newer off Earbank. According to insiders, the transfer of Towanda's Georgia property into her husband's name may have been an attempt to conceal assets from the trustee, the same house for which Tamar is said to have made a deposit, and that she reminded Towanda of on camera. And here's the thing. Tamar directly stated in one episode of Braxton Family Values, "I know where you live because I paid the down payment."
You live because I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
And
that.
now that
Thank
you got
so
this
much
on
for the gift.
accident, give me my money back. That was not a
Promise
gift.
to God. Yes, it was. But it's
no,
okay.
you didn't.
Now, fans believe that line was more than just sister shade. It constituted proof. Immediately after that was broadcast, the FBI reportedly issued a subpoena for credit line records associated with that specific address. Our internal sources tracking the case report that this is how the alleged phone bill fraud was uncovered. One admirer encapsulated it perfectly. Tanda. Muy desagradable. Paying for 6 phone lines over 12 months for 4 years and a $35,000 home loan? Girl, I would never talk to you again. Initially, I assumed people were simply being untidy. However, upon understanding that the FBI's case actually points to long-term recurring phone service charges registered under Tamar's name, it begins to make sense. A seemingly trivial family dispute may have actually been a paper trail of fraud. What's chilling is that Towanda has had previous encounters with the law. Her history reveals that she was arrested in 2005 in Atlanta for forgery and theft by receiving. The old charge disappeared without fanfare, but the FBI seems to have kept it in mind. The question that is dividing the fandom is whether Tamar really reported her own sister, since someone needed to provide those 2019 bank statements and the feds don't act without receipts. When you notice Tamar's name trending again next to FBI witness, you begin to question whether this was an act of sibling revenge or something. However, before rushing to conclusions, it's important to delve deeper, particularly into the claim that Towanda pulled Tamar and even Tony into her financial troubles without their agreement. As soon as news of Towanda's arrest broke on the blogs, whispers in the streets began to mention one name, Tamar Braxton. It also wasn't casual talk without purpose. It was observed that the timeline coincided with events a bit too perfectly. Only a few days before the federal audit supposedly affected Towanda's file, Tamar had shared a series of cryptic tweets that have since been deleted. Fans now say these tweets seem to indicate that she was tired of her sister's lies. Recall that in 2019, TMZ verified that Towanda owed Tamar $35,000, which Tamar referred to as a personal loan, whereas Towanda asserted it was a gift. The FBI's fraud case has now centered around that one inconsistency. This is due to the fact that listing a family loan as a gift or misrepresenting your liabilities constitutes a false declaration according to bankruptcy law. However, the aspect that has fans going crazy is this. Tamar is said to have offered evidence of payment transfers when interrogated by investigators. An insider from the Braxton camp revealed that Tamar's lawyers corroborated her claims of possessing financial correspondence indicating that funds were transferred to Towanda's escrow account for a home down payment. Recall the moment when Tamar was caught on camera exclaiming, "I know where you live because I paid the down payment." It was more than just the energy of trivial reality television. It seems that this line could have been actual evidence. This might clarify the reason Towanda is said to have moved her Georgia property into her husband's name shortly after the bankruptcy was filed. As you all are aware, the federal authorities take things seriously when assets are shifted during an ongoing case. That's the method they use to bag people under the concealment of property clause. However, the resurfaced clip from Braxton Family Values showing Tamar confronting Towanda about a cease and desist letter she never received seemed particularly off. Tamar told her directly, "I know where you live because I made the down payment. You have been taking from me for years." And Towanda retorted, "Girl, you took Tony's man. Don't even begin with me."
You steal.
Stealing and helping?
But what you steal?
I don't steal anything.
You don't?
What I stole?
You sold men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's.
After that episode aired, fans started linking old rumors about Tamar allegedly sleeping with Tony's ex-husband Carrie Lewis, and even Jermaine Dupri's father, Michael Maldon, making that line a turning point. Out of the blue, the Braxton sister drama expanded beyond just financial issues. It turned into a matter of betrayal, in both an emotional and financial sense. Yes, the same reality TV receipts that previously brought the family fame could now serve as federal evidence. An insider claims that it was not Tamar's team who reported her sister directly, but they did cooperate completely when questioned and provided all the receipts requested by the FBI. Nevertheless, social media isn't accepting the innocent witness narrative. A fan tweeted, "Tomorrow isn't perfect by any means, but Towanda telling Tony to call the police and file charges seems a bit much." Even Tomorrow made it clear, without any preamble, that the Braxtons unite only when the cameras are on. When the camera is off, it's war. It is not allowed to say anything. Cameras are the sole thing that unites us. It's crazy how real life and reality TV began to merge into one massive investigation. Every past episode, every aired dispute, and every sarcastic that was a gift line now appears to be a potential breadcrumb in a fraud case. However, it was not the money that made this situation feel truly dark. It was a matter of how profoundly the treachery wounded. While Tamar may have worked with the federal authorities, fans speculate that her motivation was to safeguard her own reputation before becoming embroiled in the same legal troubles. When the news of Towanda's arrest reached every gossip site, an old rumor resurfaced that changed everything. The one regarding her theft of her own mother's SSI check, which originated from Tony Braxton's ex-assistant Zoe, who revealed it on his podcast in 2020. He alleged that Towanda had stolen Evelyn's social security check and even labeled her as evil for the act. I don't know how to respond to someone who is so thirsty and evil that they would steal SSI checks. And there's more. Reports verified that Towanda was arrested in 2005 for forgery and theft by receiving in Atlanta, making the current FBI investigation appear less like a misunderstanding and more like part of a pattern. If you've been a viewer of Braxton family values from the beginning, you're aware that their financial issues were consistently present in the background. However, on this occasion, the consequences go beyond that of a sister fight. Mixing federal fraud charges with decades of family mistrust leads to the crumbling of the entire Braxton legacy from within. Even Tony, who typically plays the role of peacemaker, has recently been in the news following a viral clip of her canceling on Towanda's event via phone.
I can't wait to see it.
I won't be able to be there, but that's why I was calling you.
That made me very sad.
I know.
Supporters stated that the moment was not related to scheduling. The matter pertained to distance. Tony has been retreating publicly, which may be a move to safeguard her own reputation and finances from the impending fallout related to Towanda. And to be honest, who could fault her? The last thing you want when your family is being investigated by the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit is for your own accounts to be included in the discovery process. However, the aspect that affected me most was the transformation of the sisters' silence into a strategy. Trina would share family selfies or use sisterhood hashtags. Now, there's been no word or even a repost when the news broke. That silence spoke volumes. Then there are the online fans making connections that seem too close for comfort. Someone commented, "So Tony thinks it's acceptable to assist the family, even if that means they're stealing from you." It is claimed that 6 phone lines were charged for 4 years. And this is said by the same individual who believed she shouldn't have to pay them for background singing. That's where things become complex. The Braxton brand was established on loyalty and image, rather than on money. However, whenever they attempt to unite, a financial matter drives them apart. From Tomorrow's public mental health struggles to Tony's tax issues and Tracy's passing, it feels like the true narrative emerges every time the cameras stop rolling. Despite Towanda's online silence following the arrest, court observers have spotted a significant detail in her filings. She reported assets totaling $277,000, but liabilities amounting to $547,000, which included a $50,000 Tesla she was reportedly still driving on the show. One fan hit the nail on the head. A person who has $150 in their account shouldn't be driving a Tesla worth $50,000. There's something off. Currently, as the federal authorities examine all kinds of documents from phone bills to property deeds, there are claims from sources close to the situation that Towanda could be looking at a potential prison sentence of 5 years if he is found guilty of falsifying financial disclosures. And although there hasn't been an official comment from Tamar's camp, there are times when you have to allow the truth to speak for itself. Just that was enough for the internet to go wild. If it turns out that Tamar was the one who discreetly provided evidence to the FBI, this could be among the largest family betrayals in reality TV history. mystery. And y'all, this isn't the end because there's still one more twist. It connects Tony's silence, Towanda's husband, and some dubious offshore transfers to what insiders are currently referring to as a multi-year concealment scheme. Upon hearing the rumor that Towanda's business account had been frozen by the FBI, many assumed it was over. But nah, that was only the beginning. As per sources familiar with the situation, investigators purportedly discovered that a portion of her skincare business's revenue had been funneled through a consultancy firm registered under her new husband's name, the same individual who currently has legal ownership of their home in Georgia. The action she likely believed would safeguard their assets is said to have had a major adverse effect. That transfer is now being examined by federal prosecutors as a sign of intent to conceal. And here is where it becomes more sinister. Allegedly, individuals close to Tony Braxton's team asserted that Tony quietly removed her name from all joint ventures involving the Braxton family several months ago. In the meantime, Tamar's public comments have been limited. However, what stirred fans' emotions were the reappearance of photos from Towanda's Bridgerton-themed bridal shower. Tony and Tamar both failed to appear.
Remember Tony said she was going to do the bridal shower? She's not doing the bridal shower. Somebody else is making sure everything is right for the bridal shower. I mean, I just thought that everybody would be, you know what I'm saying, happy and excited and wanting to be a part of it and want to be involved, but I'm not getting any of that, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Back then, it seemed like people considered it nothing more than trivial sister drama. However, in retrospect, it appears they were already creating distance from one another, as this coincided with the IRS issuing a back tax warning on Towanda's household account and initiating the first round of federal scrutiny. Some of you may recall that the sole thing that unites them is the cameras, and at this moment, that couldn't feel more accurate. The Braxton sisters, who were once seen as the epitome of sisterhood aspirations, are now embroiled in betrayal, federal fraud, and online turmoil. According to insiders, Towanda's upcoming court date may include a plea deal. If she agrees to cooperate and provide information about others who profited from the fraudulent filings. Translation: should Tamar's funds or Tony's assets come into contact with those accounts, this situation could escalate into something much larger. On her part, Towanda is said to be rejecting all claims. However, at this moment, silence does not seem to convey strength. It seems like a strategy. And then it struck me. This is not only about money. It concerns legacy. America's R&B family that was once the most admired was the six sisters harmonizing on love, faith, and togetherness. However, their shared fame, the very thing that kept them shining, might now be what destroys them. And to be honest, everyone, the wildest thing is that this might not even be finished yet. As per our insider information, the FBI's case file contains mentions of several financial accounts associated with family members that are still being examined. This implies that Tamar and Tony could be next to be questioned if they appear in those financial records. Should that occur, the Braxton name may never bounce back. No reality show could ever script a downfall like this. An empire of the family based on talent, fragmented by finances, and concluded with treachery.